now. Where were we? Ah, yes. You said, hello, friend, and the goblin boy kind of just holds this short sword up and just kind of like turning and looking at all of you and says, what do you want? This is my camp.
We're just on an adventure.
Do you have parents around?
When you say that, he kind of looks a little sad at that. Just your general, like, your passive insight. You visibly see him get a little sad, but he kind of like shakes it off. He's like, that's not important. Who are you and what do you want?
We're just passing through on our way to the mountain, and we heard some commotion, and Al noticed your encampment. We wanted to make sure everything was all right.
So you're not here to hurt me?
Oh, no.
Unless you want to rumble.
Tyler.
I just kind of look like, get back.
Okay.
Don't scare him.
What's your name?
Well, I
Also, do you have jam?
you can
I
kind of
crouch down. How tall is he?
he's like 1.5 feet tall. He's
Okay. I'm like sitting on the ground so that we are not I'm like motioning for everybody.
Yes.
Well, I guess Storm really can't, but everybody
We'll do that like horse lay down thing.
Yeah, everybody make yourself small.
I'm already small.
Smaller.
well, he kind of like leans his sword down a little bit, and you can kind of see him kind of like breathing and thinking to himself as his eyes close. Like, and he kind of stands up a little bit straighter, and he holds his sword, and kind of with y'all's skills, you can tell kind of clumsily, but he's holding it, and he stands kind of as tall as he can. He says, "I am Gobbo, the adventurer."
Look at you, Gobbo.
What adventure are you on?
I'm trying to. You see him like start to tear up a little bit. Avenge my parents.
Gobbo, what happened?
My parents were killed in the middle of the night, and I don't know who did it. And I'm trying to find out who, and I'm training so when I do find them, I can avenge my parents. And
Tyler says, well, we're gonna help you.
Point me the way.
Do you have any other family?
no,
No
They were-
uncles, aunts?
no, we moved away from the rest of my kin many years ago when I was just like a wee pup, and I don't know how to get back to them or to contact them or really where they live.
Where were you when your parents were attacked? Was it at this encampment or somewhere else?
It was on the other side of the mountains. I ran as far as I could because I was scared they'd come for me next. But
Well, Gobbo, it looks like you're going on a bigger adventure than you thought.
Can we keep him?
what do you mean?
I'm gonna, since I'm the shortest out of everyone, I'm just gonna go on my knee. I'm like, well, Gobbo, this tent is pretty well made. Yeah.
Well, thank you. I
And
had
you
to
know,
learn fast.
It's not that good.
Storm's going to use one
Smack
of
him.
her
Oh, sorry.
in the stomach. Right in Tyler's gut.
I mean, it's very nice. It's a good tent.
Oh, thank you, sir.
We can help you on your adventure.
You can? Do you know who killed my parents?
We don't, but we can find out.
I know this is probably hard to talk about, but could you tell us how long ago this happened?
I don't really know because I was young enough that I didn't really know how to tell time, or really, it's been a lot of days, more than I could count.
Did it get colder and then warmer again?
Oh yeah, a lot of times. I would say it got cold and warm. It was warm when it happened, and it got cold 5 times.
5 years?
How did you survive
You've
that long?
been out here by yourself this long?
Well, I've had some help. Some kind person has been leaving food. I don't know. I just some food just shows up.
Okay, I have to say Lyra's slightly suspicious. I mean, she's suspicious of everybody, but now she's starting to be like, how does a 6-year-old survive for 5 years in the wild on their own? So can I roll insight or
Yeah.
something?
Absolutely.
I'm starting to get a little suspicious.
I want to like pat him on the head and feed him some jam.
He's very thankful for the jams. Thank you, man. And Lyra, what did you get?
6.
I mean, you have no. You definitely believe him 100%.
I am no longer suspicious.
Yeah, no, you're not. You just think some poor soul knows about him and has been leaving food. At least that's what he says. He's always found berries and fruits and bread and water, whatever he's needed, every day.
I think Storm would have noticed Lyra's kind of face, and she's going to ask him, how did you manage to get across the mountain on your own?
Well, I don't really remember a whole lot other than I ran, and it got really cold and snowy as I got higher up, and I remember just passing out, and then next thing I know, I was down at the bottom on the other side of the mountains, and I had a tent, and there was this sword, and there was food in the pack just around
but
me.
You don't remember making this tent or acquiring this sword?
No, it was just there. I had it, and he holds it up, and y'all can see pretty clearly the sword. It's just a pretty basic short sword. It's fairly dull because of all the time he spent practicing just on wood and not knowing how to sharpen it. And you can see, looking around more, you see the tent. It's put up, but it's not put up properly. Like, it's kind of, if someone didn't know at all how to put up just a basic tent, this looks like someone figuring that out to the best of their knowledge. But it's clear he had to learn how to do all of this by himself, just based off of what stuff is around you.
Well, Gobbo, you are now under the protection of Lord Quackers.
Who?
I handed him a pamphlet.
Storm
Do you know how to read?
Probably not.
These symbols are interesting. Thank you.
It is. I just put it. I put on hand on it. It is a god that we serve that protects us as we journey on.
Oh. That sounds like a
we
good
can help
god.
you. We can help you. We can help you find who did this to your parents. We're probably gonna have to go to the opposite side of the mountain just to go back to your home to find more clues. Is that okay with you?
Well, yeah, I mean, I've been trying to get back. I've made a couple of journeys, some quests. You see his eyes kind of perk up when he says quests. Like, he's clearly thinks of himself as an adventurer. But he says, I mean, I wanted to go back to try and learn more, but I can't remember the way.
Well, we'll find the way. And along the way, you can gain some tips and tricks from some old adventurers.
Oh, really?
To help you gain a little more experience.
You all would teach me?
Yeah, of course. You don't think? Look, I'm just as small as you.
You're actually what, like 3 feet, right?
I'm like 2 feet taller. Than
Okay, yeah,
like,
yeah.
like, but like same area,
Yeah,
you know. I was like, I'm just like you, and by the time when you get big and strong, you're going to be expert, and it's just going to take time, but we're going to teach you.
Sir, I don't mean to pry, but you don't have sharp teeth. And he like goes and like shows like, you know, the sharp goblin teeth. He's like, you're not just like me, sir. You don't have this green skin or sharp teeth. But I understand what you mean, sir.
Go ahead.
While they're having this conversation and Gobbo's kind of distracted by Dolf, Storm's gonna investigate his campsite, and she also wants to see if she can pick up on, like, she doesn't necessarily trust that he doesn't remember everything, or if he doesn't, it's because of a magical means. So she wants to see if she can pick up anything like that.
Okay. I guess if you're trying to pick up and see if there's anything magical going on, go ahead and give me an Arcana check.
16.
16. So, you definitely feel just a little hint of magic that surrounds this camp. As you notice, it kind of it's like as you're trying to, you know, gauge if there's anything going on, you kind of get the sense that there's this bubble that surrounds this camp. And with that, you kind of get the feeling that this is some sort of abjuration protection sort of spell going on, as if someone cast like a bubble of protection around the camp.
In that case, since she can sense that there's some sort of magic, she's gonna cast Detect Magic, to see if she can get a read on, like, what exactly this is.
Alright.
That just kind of happens.
Yes.
But I will go ahead and roll to see if I roll on the search chart. And I do, so let me do that.
Oh no.
Tell me the tale of what she finds magically.
Well, you definitely are able to learn that, yes, this is some form of abjuration magic. As if you're like, you would be familiar with the spell Mage Armor. It's almost if someone's amplified that to surround this camp, as if there's any sort of attack against anyone within this camp, it would be more difficult. It's not necessarily to repel, but it's to help. Ooh, sorry, someone had very loud. But it's as if someone wanted to help protect whatever's within this bubble, and help them fight off anything, but not necessarily prevent anything from coming in.
Storm's about to scare the absolute shit out of this child. She rolled an 8, which means you cast Fireball as a 3rd level spell centered on myself.
No. Oh
No.
no.
What that looks like. There's one person in the audience who knows one of my previous characters died in this exact way.
Everyone needs to make a dex saving throw, including Gobbo.
Oh, what if we kill him right now? Because
He still takes.
Gobbo's dead.
He takes
like,
half damage. Yes.
Let me.
Regardless.
Spell.
oh no.
Yeah,
Oh no.
Save.
Go ahead and roll damage.
Okay. Alright, let me see if she saves from that.
Can I like
He
throw
doesn't.
myself on top of Gobbo?
You said a dex saving throw, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
this deck saving throw.
I'm trying to. Well, she doesn't have that spell available, I don't think. She might.
I got a 17.
Oh no, somebody put in the chat, do you remember that one time we killed a baby goblin?
I got a.
Where would I
13.
find that spell? Third level?
How far away are you? It's a 30 foot. I think it's a 30 foot.
Oh, this
We're all,
camp's
like,
not
right
even
in
30
the
feet. This
camp.
is like a 10-foot camp kind of thing. Like, y'all are...
We were all sitting
Can I
next to each other.
shove him away? As like a
I don't think it's gonna be far enough.
No, y'all, I
Okay,
mean...
so I have to roll 8d6.
Or like
Oh,
throw
my.
myself on top of him?
Don't
No,
worry.
it's
Don't worry.
none of
I
y'all
got
saw
this.
this coming. It just kind of happened.
I got this.
Just
Got
suddenly fireball. That's what happened.
Suddenly fireball. You were
She
all
didn't
making
even
decks.
know she was trying to detect magic.
Yeah, correct.
Oh no. Okay. So we take half damage if we
If you
succeed on
succeed.
our stage.
Yes.
Okay, I got a 22, so I assume that's 60.
I really can't tell what
I
this
got
is
a
or not, because
I got a 5.
I don't have the spell prepared, so I just had to pull it up on Roll20 on like the spell information. So I guess whatever the DC is up to Luke.
No, the DC should
The
be your
DC
spell. It
Yes,
should be
your
your
spell
spell
save.
DC.
Is your
Oh, okay,
spell
it's my
DC?
spell save. Got it.
Yeah.
Her spell save.
I need to know what I need to beat.
Even half would be really, really bad.
8d6, is that what you said?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So
The only way that this goblin can survive is if you roll 8 ones.
no, and that didn't happen.
Oh no.
Let's see.
This is gonna be so sad.
After
32 damage.
That was our son!
32. All right, and what
That
do I
hurt
need
a
to roll to
lot.
beat that? What do I need to roll to save?
Still trying to
It's your spell save, huh?
It's the spell DC. Yeah,
Okay, save DC's 12.
12. All right.
So I'm
Correct.
taking all of that damage.
So we take half if we save.
Yeah, if you save, you take half.
And it was 34.
32.
32.
16 is half.
So 16 would be for anybody who got half damage.
Well, this is the first time I've taken damage in like
32
6
damage.
months.
32 damage. Oh.
So
Mm.
that fireball explodes and fills this whole area, and like just the tent is just incinerated away.
I just
The
wanted to,
bush,
sorry. Just you did mention there's some sort of a magical barrier. Is there any chance that would have affected anything there?
no,
Just checking. Okay,
It's keeping
I
things
can-
out, I
sorry.
think.
gotcha.
it's helping whoever's inside fight off something, but there's something.
Inside exploding.
This is not necessarily fighting off something. This is avoiding something.
We are the perfect infiltrator killers.
Don't
So,
worry, guys, I got this.
want you to know, after destroying this poor goblin's tent, little Gobbo's tent, and destroying everything else he owns that does not have physically on him with this fireball, you see him knocked on his back, still alive.
Oh god.
I want you to know that I did not have HP for him written up, and so I rolled a d20 to see what his health is. And I happened to get just above the amount of damage that he received, because he saved.
Oh god. Okay, Storm's gonna immediately run over.
Don't cast anything.
I'm
No.
like patting the fire out and like.
Since I was like already like holding him, kind of like I was just like kneeling down.
child.
I am going to cast the spell because that's what I do. I'm going to cast Cure Wounds
Remember the last time when I rolled and we got flumps and it was great?
I'm gonna cast Cure Wounds at 2nd level.
Okay, that's
I
probably.
just turn and stare at Storm, like, horrified.
Because this boy,
He-
I'm just gonna be like,
What did you do?
I'm just gonna be like, hold. Well, I'm gonna cast that first level. I'm holding him. I was like, hey, are you okay? Hey, are you okay?
He like kind of shakily. He's like shaking like in an insane amount. Like he is horrified at what just occurred.
He heals for 14.
Perfect. That is great. That's
Storm is going to go up to everybody. She's going to keep her distance from Gobbo because she's assuming he's now terrified of her.
yeah. As you like, he's like he just saw suddenly fire explode from you, and so he's just like he doesn't like reel back or anything, but he's just like very wide eyed and just like
just look at Storm and go, why did you do that?
So you know how at the circus those flumps randomly appear? Whenever I do magic, it's either really good or really bad.
You think?
Yeah, no kidding.
That was a really bad one.
I, like, move in front of Gobbo a little bit,
This
like,
is
between...
Has quite literally never happened before. Normally I turn into a plant or get flumps, or I once made myself shrink a whole bunch, and that never changed. But this is the first time I've actually nearly killed everyone with a fireball. So I'm going to avoid magic for a while.
Well, please do.
Yeah.
I think that would be best.
Just for note, I'm at 13 health now
Oh my word.
because I failed that deck save.
So short long rest, everybody.
So
it's been like an hour since we woke up.
Yeah, I know.
I'm just gonna be like,
It's
hey,
been a day, y'all. Let's go back
There's
to
like-
sleep. We're going back.
back to town.
I'm healing Gobbo, I'm just like, I'm also like just, putting a protection spell. Well, not protection. Like I'm just praying to Lord Quackers, and I am going to. How long does this last? That only lasts an hour, but I know something I will do if something else comes up.
So Gobbo's like, thank you, sir. That feels a lot much better. Is my mom's scarf okay?
So I'm just gonna get up and start searching for this scarf.
Where's this
I
scarf?
really doubt it, to be honest.
It was in
I, like, slap a mage hand over Tyler's mouth.
Where's the scarf?
it was in my tent. I used it as my blanket, as a pillow. In a
I'm
blanket.
going-
Anything left?
I'm going.
No, there's
No.
nothing but
Nothing
ashes left.
Dolf, do you have mending?
left.
Is it possible that I can use mending on the ashes?
I will say, gosh,
Even if
okay,
it's a
let's,
scrap of this
what,
scarf.
mending requires 2 different pieces, correct?
Mending. Hold on, I'm looking.
Mending.
Repairs a single break or tear in an object.
Okay, tell you what, I will let you roll, you're gonna have to roll an Arcana check first, and if it is high enough, I will say you're able to simply bring it back.
Oh my god, no chat!
Just so I can let chat know. Dolf is very wise. He's not very smart. And also, Dolf has 2 negatives in his stat block. Do you want to guess which? We already know one of them is Dex. You want to know what the other one is? It's an intelligence. And, it's worse. It's a -2. So we're gonna deal with this. We're gonna
Yeah, you're gonna need to roll high.
God. Well, Backers, bless this dice. We're gonna. That is a 19. I rolled on the dice, so that's a 17.
Alright.
17 Arcana.
And then you cast Mending?
Yeah.
Okay. You find where, just based off of, where inside the remains of this burnt tent, where Gobbo might have slept. And you kind of just put your hands into the ashes, and you just really concentrate really hard because you want to be able to bring back something for this goblin child to remember his mother with. And you just focus, and you cast Mending, and you start to feel something come out of the ashes. And you're able to bring back just about, a 6-inch little, it's like 6 inches, but it's only 2 inches wide. Just a little goblin scarf. It's just the very end of it, some tassels, but you're not able to bring back the entire scarf. But you're able to bring back just the end where there's just some little tassels hanging off.
Okay, so it's a handkerchief now. We can dry his tears.
Can I use it to make him a bow tie?
I'm gonna bring it to Gobbo. Like, here, Gobbo. This is all I can remember.
He takes it, and his hand's still shaking horribly, and he's just like, and just covers his face with remains of this scarf, and he just is like, these big crocodile tears, and he's sobbing. He's so sad. But he after, a minute of him just, horribly crying, he comes back up and says, thank you for bringing back what you could of my mom.
I'm gonna hug him.
He leans into it. He's like, he doesn't hug you back, but he leans into it and he's just sobbing.
His hair is like being patted by the mage hand. It's no longer on Tyler's mouth.
Storm's gonna pull Lyra to the side, away from Gobbo, because she feels really bad about being near him.
Yeah.
Lyra, before, I turned into a blaze of fire.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
What caused that was there was some magic going on, and I cast to figure out what exactly that magic was. And I believe it was mage armor, but more powerful. It surrounded the camp, seemed to be protecting the boy. And not from fireballs, but
Yeah. You do note, just with the lingering leftover of detect magic, it's gone. Your magic was powerful enough to completely obliterate whatever magic was there. And it wasn't particularly strong when you felt it initially, as if it needed to be redone.
Would that kind of magic be focused on an object that potentially got destroyed, or would it be centered on an area? Does that make sense?
It seemed to be surrounding the entire camp, sort of bubble of protection. So perhaps would she know if mage armor would have to be attached to something, perhaps the tent?
Normally, yes. Your association with mage armor is it's cast on a individual to bring up, make it harder to hit. This one, since it's obviously much more powerful and it was not acting the same way that mage hand normally does, you think maybe, but it also could have been just the area. you're unsure. You think it could be either one.
I don't really know, but it's certainly faded now, so that could either be the destruction of perhaps the tent, or maybe just the blast was powerful enough to tear through the shield.
Well, either way, who would be protecting him, but then not providing him food, or like actual home? You know, like
I have a feeling that whoever cast this protective magic around this boy is the same creature that somehow got him down the mountain in some sort of safety, while also ensuring that he has no memory of them.
and how strange to care about a goblin child. I mean, I'm not trying to be racist, but very odd that someone would. I mean, okay, I feel like this is coming out wrong. I'm just saying, why would you not save the child and leave them on their own, like in the wild, to fend for themselves with some protection? But like, why pick like? How did they even cut? They had to know the situation this child was in to begin with. Does that make sense?
Well, perhaps not. They could have very easily found this child wandering the woods after he had run from the location of his parents' murder, and caring about the safety of the child, they got them down the mountain and have been providing them with the bare minimum ever since, because perhaps they could not be involved with actually caring for the child in a more parental or intimate way.
I guess that's true, but why not put in the effort to find them a home that could provide that?
I think if I were in his shoes, you could take me to the nicest inn in the nicest town, and I would make my way back to the mountain to try to find what happened to my parents. And I think that they saw that same resolve in this child. I mean, he's no more than 12 years old, and built himself a dummy to practice his sword fighting on, and taught himself how to build a tent. And while it wasn't a great tent, it kept him sheltered. And that resolve is something that he had probably had his entire life. So there's no sense in trying to find him a home where you know he's just going to leave it.
Could it also be possible, as dark as this may sound, that
Cancer Lich?
I escalated quickly.
Lich Mom.
I really escalated quickly.
What happened?
A lich mom.
Lich Mom. Can't be involved with a kid if you're a Lich Mom.
Lyra, what were you saying?
I was gonna say, could it be possible that the person who's protecting this goblin is also the person that killed his parents?
Yes,
I feel guilty.
I think that is honestly more probable than anything. I think they either meant to kill the entire family and failed, or perhaps didn't mean to kill them at all.
Mm-hmm.
And the guilt of watching this child suffer through life because of their actions is enough to cause them to feel the need to ensure their survival, not necessarily their comfort.
And it would explain why they haven't gone further in providing for them, or him. Because if he found out that his provider was the person who had killed him, or killed his parents.
But what a twist.
Terrified
Terrified of me In
As-
more ways than one, I'm sure.
As this conversation, like as they're working it out in the background, is Sirius been like uncharacteristically like quiet with Gobbo and is like kind of like whispering to him soothingly, like, "It's okay, Gobbo. I never knew my parents, and if you survive something like that, you must be really strong."
He
That-
continues crying. He's still, just had a very big day.
Sure did.
Storm's going to very tentatively approach him. Very, very slowly and cautiously.
Is just like kind of looks up and is like,
Well,
And she's going to kneel down in front of him. And she's going to say, I am so sorry. I don't know exactly how to control the results of what happens when I cast magic, and I don't know how to repay it, but I do know how to sew quite well without magic. If you would like, I know there's not much of your mother's stuff left, but what there is, I could perhaps fashion sort of miniature teddy bear or something for you out of it.
A little armband, so it's always with you forever.
if it's not too much trouble, I would just like to keep it wrapped around my wrist. And it's okay. I've dealt with hardships before, and losing my parents was much worse than this. And as he's standing there, he was just wearing kind of a simple like linen shirt, something that would have burned off pretty quickly. And you see, through the burn holes in it, he's actually pretty scarred up underneath. Like, he's been through some stuff and came out on top.
Can we tell if it's stab wound type scars or burn scars or a magical kind of?
You definitely see what looks like fang marks, where some creature got a hold of him. You see some things that look like they might have been, it might have been a sword. It's just hard to tell. Definitely, and, it's not like, his whole body's covered, but it's like the ones that are there are big. Like the one that looked like fangs kind of takes up his whole torso, as if he was just full blown in some big creature's mouth and was able to get out somehow. But he kind of tries to cover himself as best as he can.
Storm's gonna pull out a extra shirt that she has, just common clothes, and hand it to him, seeing that he's kind of uncomfortable with the scars showing.
He takes it just gingerly,
And
he he tries to slide it over, and he's just kind of buried, and he's just suddenly looks like a small, your shirt would certainly be much larger than him as a whole.
Wait, let me see that. I'll tell.
I'll get mine. I'll get my shirt.
I'm gonna help him stand up, and I'm gonna look at him, and I'm gonna say, Gobbo, you're a very brave adventurer.
He perks up a little bit when you call him an adventurer. He's like, thank you, ma'am. And he seems to shake a little bit less. He says, thank you for the shirt. It's a little big. It's okay. I've certainly dealt with plenty more than this. Like all adventurers do, they go through hard stuff. And you all said you wanted to help me, and I think that would be nice.
I do promise not to do any magic around you.
That would be very
At
nice,
least
man.
30 feet away.
That would be
We
very
could-
nice.
We could use another brave adventurer on our team.
I think I don't really have anything left to keep me here.
Oh,
I like
so bad.
side eye Storm at that.
Storm's just hung her whole head.
So
There has like she's like, okay, we've been sad too long now, and she's like, like I need to distract him. And I'm like, hey, can you show me some of your like sword work? It looks like you're pretty good. And I pull out because like I'm College of Swords, so I pull out one of my daggers and like show it to him, and I want to like show him how to sharpen his knife or something, like get him engaged in another activity.
that's definitely what I wanted. I was like showing some stances, you know.
Yeah.
I was in a kind of army kind of thing, so you know, gotta do some basic stances and exercises of.
Once he's less scared of Storm, she'll help train him, but I don't think she can scare him with the sword at the moment.
Yeah. So between Dolf and Lyra, you know, y'all definitely succeed in distracting him a good bit, and he kind of shows you what he can. And when learning, y'all showing him stuff and showing him how to sharpen his sword, and he's like, "Oh, that'll help a lot." And here, let me show you what I know. And you know, he kind of gets into a stance that's fairly clumsy, but definitely it looks like it doesn't look like he's just going to lose the sword. You know, like it doesn't look like he's going to strike and it's just going to go. It looks as though he might actually be able to hold his own a little bit, but certainly, you know, not a professional fighter by any means.
Oh yeah.
But it's not half bad.
I'm definitely showing him some basic stances and stuff.
Perfect. Sweet. He's very thankful.
I'm gonna make this little Gobbo a fighter or a rogue.
Make a man out of you.
Montage.
Montage time! Montage time, Luke!
Suddenly he's 50 and battle hardened.
3 months later.
At the end of the training montage for the day, I'm gonna go up to him and hand him one of my daggers for him to keep.
Oh, thank you, ma'am. This is a very nice dagger. And it's like it's definitely, you know, long. It's shorter than the short sword, but still, like, you know, pretty big compared to him.
After he sharpened his sword, is it decent now, or like is it still kind of like he kind of wrecked that sword?
He seemed to pick it up fairly quickly. You do note that with Lyra and Dolf helping teach, he seemed to pick up what they taught him pretty quickly.
Well, no, like the damage on the sword that he initially had.
Well, yeah, with that, the sharpening of the sword, like, you know, started out pretty rough. Like, it wasn't looking great, but as he kind of started getting the hang of it, it looks pretty decent now. It definitely looks like it would cut.
Okay.
Whereas before, it was struggling to get through just bark. So how long do y'all stay there?
A couple hours.
I need a short rest because I am hurting.
Yeah, go ahead. Y'all can take
however long a short rest will take.
Couple hours.
Yeah.
An hour.
I can also perform while we're resting to give everybody an extra D6.
Ooh,
That would be nice.
So I shall do that.
Gobbo seems to be very enthralled with your performance, as if he's just like kind of stands there starry-eyed, just listening. He's like, "Ma'am, what was that?"
Oh, my performance is with swords, not with.
Oh, that's right.
Not with an instrument. I mean, I could use an instrument, but
I wasn't. I thought I was not sure which one you're using. He's still pretty enthralled with your dancing with those swords and the maneuvers you make. And like as you're doing it, you can see him trying to like copy your movements.
Mm-hmm.
Not great, but like he's trying. So
You said that's an extra D6.
Yeah.
Okay.
I kind of like pat him on the shoulder, like, "You're doing great, Gobbo. I'm very proud of you."
thank you. That means a lot.
By the way, you can call me Iz.
It's nice to meet you, Iz.
I'm Dolf.
Mr. Dolph, Miss Iz.
Just Iz is okay.
Okay, Miss Iz.
My heart.
If this goblin turns out to be like
I don't care.
Big bad.
I don't care.
and pulling
I
away,
could care less.
It's worth it.
So
Worth
mad.
it. So worth it.
The amount of emotional trauma we've been through with this child.
I'm also gonna send Cass to survey the area since we've been here for a while. Like if anything shows up around us.
What time of day is it?
It's still pretty early morning. Like, I mean, y'all only got there because y'all left as light was like at dawn. So it's at this point, it's probably only,
Hadn't we been walking for most of the day though before we came across him?
y'all been walking for like half the day. That's right. So it's probably like 4 o'clock at this point.
Okay.
I'd say if it's just y'all spend a few hours there resting and teaching him stuff. But he by the end of it, he seems to be in a much better mood. He's not shaking at all. He's kind of smiling a little bit. Just as the time y'all have spent with him, just this few hours, you can tell he's not the kind of person that that's not happy. It's hard to make him. Like, he gets happy when, you call him an adventurer or ask him that you say you're going to help him, but he definitely, there's a lot of emotions hiding behind the figure that is Gobbo that y'all have not quite gotten to yet.
He's an enigma.
Kind of like he's a child who had his parents killed or something.
Something like, as if he's gone through a very traumatic event at a very young age.
Who knew?
This is the trauma.
Thanks, drama.
And for the second time in his life, well, not for the second time, but for another time in his life, today was also very traumatic for him.
Yeah, a little bit.
I suggest I'm gonna suggest we keep on walking towards our destination, taking Gobbo with us, and then we make camp because it is getting late.
Norm will take the lead.
Cass. Sorry.
Oh, Cass, there's not anything too crazy. I mean, it's just the woods. It's pretty empty. Y'all are still, quite a few miles away from the base of the mountains. And you're not even really sure where at the base of the mountains you're looking for. You just know it's at the base somewhere. But
As we head out, Storm will take lead, and she wants to be paying attention for any kind of small animals or anything that she can kind of hunt for dinner for the lot of us.
okay, give me just a general perception check then. 18. Yeah, I mean, there's some, just some quail, some rabbit, some squirrel that you occasionally see.
She's going to shoot a handful of them with some arrows, go collect them, and have them ready to try and cook him a nice dinner to, make up for traumatizing him again.
Alright, just give me, just give me a couple. I would say, you don't even have to. You're good enough. You are able to hit everything you need. You get all of it. And you get a couple quail, a rabbit. You do miss the squirrel. The squirrel just runs off. But, I mean, you get a good amount.
Okay, cool.
Oh,
So
Yeah.
y'all,
Mountain.
yeah, y'all walk, and you walk for a few hours before it starts to get dark, and y'all still aren't quite to the base, just because y'all spent some time at the camp helping Gobbo. And so you think probably tomorrow morning you'd be able to make it there in an hour or two, at least to the where you can start looking for some hidden place where something might be kept, wherever the sword or stolen items might be. But you do find a pretty nice place, a nice area that's fairly open, and it's not too cramped, so you can all fit perfectly in this area. But yeah, so what do y'all do?
Gobbo create a fire and start cooking, like getting and cooking the food for everyone.
Perfect.
Tyler has been fairly quiet throughout this thing. He's not. He doesn't have experience with kids in his adult life very much at all, and so he eventually, after towards the end of the day, it's almost starting to get awkward how little he's interacted with him. So he's feeling the pressure to engage, and so he's like, so have you ever killed a dangerous beast? Gobbo?
Well, I suppose I don't really know what animals are called. What I was never taught. I've been on my own for so long. I didn't really learn much, sir.
Because if you hang out with me, I kill dangerous beasts, and we could do that. I could help you, and then you could, and then we could kill a dangerous beast. How does that sound? Does that sound fun? I think that sounds fun.
I'm gonna sit next to Gobbo is like, Tyler over here, he tells great stories of his wilding adventures. If someone has adventurous stories, Tyler is your man.
Oh, that would be really good, sir.
I've been known to have some pretty amazing adventures in my time.
Why don't you share one, Tyler? Share one of your adventures while we wait for this food.
Yeah.
As Dolf says that, Storm is going to immediately, in her mind, speak to Tyler and go, please don't tell him about the one where you killed the parent bears and the cubs were left behind. That might not be a good one to tell him.
And then Tyler says out loud, "I'll tell that one later." and then looks back at Gobbo and says, "One time there was a wolf that was terrorizing a village, and sorry, is your hand up?"
Yes. I'm sorry, sir. I just have a question. What's a wolf? What does it look like, sir?
Okay.
Does someone have minor illusion to make a wolf, like a picture of a wolf or something?
Do you know what a dog?
Oh, I do. I will minor illusion a picture of a wolf.
All right. So how are you making? So how are you creating a wolf with minor illusion?
It's no larger than like a 5-foot cube, so it's like a little small model version of a wolf.
Okay.
It's just an image.
Gotcha.
Like an illusion.
So like this, but a lot bigger.
Oh yeah. I had run in with some of those before, sir.
And what did you do?
Well,
God, this poor child.
I didn't really want to, sir. They were just hungry. They were just looking for something to eat, and I just happened to be there, and I guess they like goblins, sir. And, well, I ended up having to kill them.
So you have killed dangerous beasts?
Well, yes, sir. Being alone out here and being as small as I am, sir, I had to learn really quickly to not die, sir. I knew that if I was to die, then no one would be there to avenge my parents, sir. And, well, sir, I have had to kill a few things before. And I've killed a few of the. I don't really know how many. I think it was like there was like this many, sir.
Of course he has. He's a brave adventurer.
I'm looking around.
I'm like looking at Tyler, just like
I'm looking at the people in the circle, looking at Dolf, looking back at Gobbo, just like, guys, he killed 3 wolves. Well, well, soon you'll be strong like me. And then I kind of trail off and like talk, because I was going to talk about how this fur I'm wearing was from a scary wolf, but I guess that's not that impressive anymore.
Hearing Tyler tell everybody that he has killed 3 wolves, Storm's gonna look up from the fire and go, "Is that where you got that bite mark from?"
He kind of looks at the ground sheepishly when you talk to him.
As he looks sheepishly, Storm's gonna kind of lift up the side of one of her shirts and show like a giant scar on her side and go, "Don't worry, we've all got them."
Well, ma'am, that was not from the wolves, ma'am. It was that. This was. I don't really know. It was big. It basically it had some large teeth, and it was kind of
a bear. Don't tell me it was a bear.
It was really big and it was brown.
Oh, it was a bear!
No. I think I know what that is. I think you're describing a bear, and it's big and it goes bah! And it's
perhaps you could
this big and
the bear.
I very, very reluctantly turn the minor illusion into a bear.
Was it perhaps something that looked like this, just much larger?
Oh yeah. And he gets visibly scared when you show him a bear.
Bears are his forte. He'll take out any bear he sees.
I kill bears very good. I'm very good at killing bears.
Very good at it.
Oh.
You never have to worry about the bear hurting you again. That is for sure.
They're kind of like wolves. They're hungry, and I make the illusion go away.
He was a very big, hungry, I guess bear. The bear is what it's called. Well, it got me in its mouth, and it did this. And he kind of like grips his stomach and his body. He kind of just sits there a little uncomfortably. But he says, I was able to take my sword and I was able to kind of jab at it a little bit, but it didn't do much. Its fur is really thick, but I think I got it in this, whatever this part is. And he points at his.
That's called an eye. You stabbed it in the eye.
Oh, okay. Are both of these called an eye?
Yeah, they're both eyes. You stabbed in both eyes?
Oh well, no. I just got it in one, but it made this really big noise, and it let go, and I managed to run away.
Did it die?
I don't know. I just ran. I just ran away as fast as I could. I grabbed my bag that had fallen off, and I ran.
Storm's gonna go over and hand Gobbo a squirrel, and then just back of the head slap Tyler. And she's
I don't know what that's for.
Asking him dramatic questions about the bear attack, man.
It's awesome. This kid is like pretty impressive.
Yes, this kid's more impressive than you. I'll admit it. However,
whoa! I don't go that far.
No.
Is this like nodding in agreement?
Okay, I mean.
However, he's clearly scared talking about the whole encounter, so lay off all the questions.
I don't know who would win in a fight.
You're gonna fight
I
a
could
child?
take it. I could definitely
Tyler,
take
do Tyler, do not fight him.
I mean, I wasn't going to.
About the 30, well, you know what, we'll make it 50. Tyler, come with me about 50 feet away from the rest of the group, and I'm going to cast some magic.
What is going on?
She's threatening.
But okay.
I'm just like, let's eat up. It's gonna take a bowl of whatever stew was being made and start eating.
Tyler just as he starts eating, just looks at Garbo and says, "Hey, you're really cool, and don't let these people tell you otherwise, okay? Okay." And then he shoves his mouth full of food.
Gobbo is just sitting there with the bowl with this wooden bowl with food and says, "Thank you, sir. That means a lot." And he just like kind of gingerly takes the spoon, and just eats just a little bit of meat and whatever you're able to cook up. But he's very quiet for a good while. Just kind of seems to be there contemplating his own thoughts. So what do y'all do?
After we eat, I kind of want to take just like take the first watch, but I also want Gobbo to come with me, just to like walk around, just like walk off tension, you know.
While they do that, Storm will stay awake and watch the actual camp. So she'll take first watch with AJ, but not with Dolf, while they go do their own thing.
Perfect.
I'm gonna stay up for a little bit, and I'm gonna draw pictures in my notebook of like me and a terrible looking stick figure goblin holding hands and skipping along through the forest.
Oh goodness.
Tyler kind of not having anything to do, does look over Iz's shoulder and says, You missed the dagger in the bear's eye. You should draw that. You should add that to your drawing. That'd be really cool."
I like push his face away with a mage hand.
Dagger in your eye.
Lyra, what do you do?
I don't know. I feel like Lyra is just a little overwhelmed with the emotions of this child. Lyra does not like to feel emotion. In case you haven't picked up on that.
Feeling again.
Prefer not to feel things. So she's had her limit for the day. So she's kind of on the edge of things. Maybe she'll play like some lullaby music for him to go to sleep to.
Gotcha. Well, before any of y'all go to sleep or whatnot, as the sun, starts to set, and like it's starting to get dark, and twilight rolls around, Gobbo looks up at the sky and says, "Oh, have y'all seen them?"
Then, Gobbo.
I'm sorry.
It's they usually come out about this time of day.
Stars? Can you describe?
They're really big. They don't bother me. They're really big. They've got it. There's their fur. They're the fuzzy stuff. That
Fur?
fur. Oh, okay. Their fur is well, it kind of looks like that. And he points up, and you guys can start to see stars. And kind of as the sky above starts to turn into the night sky.
The fur looks like stars.
Well, it looks like that, and he kind of gestures to the sky.
Oh, black.
Well, with
navy blue,
with the white things too.
speckled.
And they've got these things that come off from like back here, and he points to the back of his head.
Horns.
And they kind of twist up, and they're just really dark. But they're and their eyes these
Mm-hmm.
those are like those just look like the specs. They don't have the rest.
Can
They
we try to figure out what he is talking about from this description?
Yeah, I have a lot of nature experience.
Like
Yes,
either
you
nature
can.
or
Yeah,
survival or something like that.
you can roll nature.
And Storm roll as
Yeah.
well. Or
Yeah.
she lived in the woods.
Absolutely.
I know
Ooh,
nothing.
That's
I
what
forgot. Nature is
Storm got a
an
dirty
intelligence check.
I got a 22.
I got negative, and that's gonna be a 7.
I got a natural 1, so I'm like, I think he's talking about a tuna. I think. That sounds like a tuna to me.
So, Lyra and Storm, because what did you get? Did you roll?
Oh.
I don't know anything.
Oh, okay, sweet.
I got like a 7.
Okay, yeah.
I don't think it's a tuna, but I don't know what it is.
I don't think it's a tuna either. So
Alright, so Lyra and Storm, y'all are kind of able to maybe think it's some sort of deer, antelope thing. The way he's describing it, it sounds like it's maybe some large creature with maybe antlers, the way he is kind of describing what it looks like. And as y'all are kind of gauging that, he actually says, they might show up if we're really, really quiet. I usually have to be really quiet for them to just show up. And he kind of like stands up and he starts walking around the edge of the camp, just kind of looking into the woods.
I'm going to sit on whatever bedspread I have, like whatever like sleeping bag thing I have near the fire. I'm just gonna sit. I'm just gonna be quiet. I'm gonna take off my armor because that armor do be noisy. I'm just gonna sit down and just wait, I guess.
Yeah, Storm's gonna be silent, but she is just in case. The reason that they hadn't bothered him before was because of that bubble of magic. She's going to have her longbow prepared and ready.
So,
In case.
and so all of y'all are kind of staying by the fire, just kind of watching him walk around the edge of the camp.
Mm-hmm.
So he's probably, like 25, 30 feet away. When you see him kind of stop and he kind of looks at y'all and he kind of looks excited and he just kind of kind of covers his mouth. Like, basically you would assume he's trying to say be quiet. And he kind of turns and looks in the woods. And he kind of holds out just a small piece of meat that y'all had cooked. And he kind of holds it out with his hand open just to the woods. And out from the woods, y'all see what looks to be an elk. Just this huge elk that's your size, Storm. Bigger, a little taller than you, thanks to the antlers. And its fur is literally stars, the night sky. It looks as though galaxies are swimming in its fur, and its antlers are pitch black. And its eyes glow with just a faded white light. And he holds this little bit of meat out to it, and it approaches him. And it gets real close, and it sniffs the top of his head, and then it sniffs his hand. And it opens its mouth, and you see rows of just fangs.
Okay.
It just takes the meat from his hand and then just kind of sniffs the top of his head again. And then you see it kind of bow and put the space between its antlers just right on his head. And then it walks off, just ever so slowly, as if it was never there. And one thing you guys do notice, you don't hear it. You don't hear footsteps. It doesn't make a sound.
Storm wants to very quietly try to follow it.
Alright.
Not, from a distance. She's not trying to catch up to it.
Alright, so it kind of goes back in the woods, and you would lose sight of it for a bit if you're trying to be a good ways off.
maybe like 10 feet away from it. Like, not like super far back, but far enough that like it doesn't think I'm about to like slash at it.
Well, as you get up to follow it, Gobbo kind of looks and says, "Oh, you won't be able to follow it, ma'am. It's already gone." And he points to where you just saw it, and it is just flat out gone. And with that, the last bit of sunlight disappears, and it is now officially dark at night.
I'm gonna whisper. Who's closest to me?
Probably Storm. Earlier, I tend to hang out.
The parent.
Well, you went over by Gobbo. He
That's true.
Yeah, so it probably. I mean, any of the Tyler is or Dolf, whichever one.
Okay, well, Lyra's gonna whisper, but because she doesn't really go Gobbo to hear.
I mean, we got the.
Oh yeah, bro. In our heads, telepathically, I'm like, did anyone just see that thing bow to this kid? Like,
Is once one.
what does that mean? Is this a goblin prince?
I don't think that other thing was a goblin, but
No. The elk bowed to the kid, to Gobbo.
I mean, it depends on what that thing is. Like, there's no way of us knowing what that is.
Sarah wants to try to recall. She grew up in a centaur purge in the woods.
Mm-hmm.
She wants to try to recall ever seeing one, hearing about them, maybe like folk tale, like nobody thought they actually existed, type campfire story, anything she can remember from being raised in the woods.
Or just I would probably just try to recall anything that I've heard in this town, in the city, if anyone talked about things happening in the wood by the mountains.
For those who want, y'all can go ahead and give me a history check to see if maybe you might have heard of it somewhere. Or
Where did I put this dice? It's right here.
That was a nat 20 plus 1, so 21.
Oh, dang.
I got a 18.
Alright.
19.
Oh, I actually rolled really well too.
Tyler's not smart, so he didn't roll.
I got 22.
Oh, wow. Okay. So pretty much everyone but Tyler, you all kind of have this weird memory of, like, old story. Like, Storm, you would have heard, like, the elders of your other centaurs just talking about creatures that are not of this world but exist in it. And the rest of you would have heard tales of some creatures that are made of twilight and the sky. And yeah, Storm, with your 21, you're definitely... Did anyone roll higher than 21?
I got a 22.
Okay.
She got a 22.
Perfect. So both of you are both come to kind of the same name. And you both kind of realize at the same time that, like, maybe this is what you've heard called before a twilight elk. But again, like, it's one of those things where it was certainly like folklore, just stories, nothing that had any grounds in reality. And so you think maybe this, like, the fact that you believe you have actually seen one is like something out of mythology, out of fantasy, that, like, it would be as if, for, real world terms,
Seeing like a unicorn.
yeah, literally like a unicorn just walked out. And
This is a carnivorous elk.
The moment I remember
I thought
this,
it was a Wendigo.
The moment I remember this, I whip out my notebook again and just start drawing and writing furiously.
Storm wants to pull out. She has a diary kind of situation, more of a journal, that she had wrote all of the teachings she had received, growing up. I'm trying to remember what that guy's name is.
I will say it's
Cult.
the mention of the Twilight Elk is not some. It was one of those things that it is something out of such fantasy that like the elders and your mentor would have not really put it down as important. It was more been one of the like. It would have been one of those things you heard as a child.
Okay. In that case, she's gonna write down in the back, kind of blank pages of that journal from Colt, the experience, and she's going to try her best to depict what it looked like.
All right. Yeah, you're able to do so pretty easily. I mean, you basically just draw the outline of an elk and put white dots in it. It looks as decent as it can. And like one thing you won't notice is Gobbo's just kind of standing there, and he's just kind of looking, and he looks very peaceful. He says, "Yeah, they sometimes it's multiple, and they used to visit me a lot, and it's been this first time I've seen one in this many dark times."
4 days. Gobbo, do they always bow to you?
Well, yeah, I typically try and have something for them to eat. And yeah, pretty much every time they come, they'll take their head and they'll just bonk me with it.
Even if you don't have food to give them, or is this only when you do have food?
Sometimes when I don't have food, they'll always they do that every time, even if I don't have food. They're very shy, but they seem to have. I think they're okay with me.
I would say so, Gobbo. Those teeth were something I wouldn't want to deal with.
Does anything else ever bonk you?
Not like that. No, those are the only things that go bonk.
Like what?
In Storm's head, she's going to say, specifically directed towards Lyra's response that she had communicated to us earlier. But everyone can hear what we say in that link, right? We're all tapped into it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So she's going to say, Lyra, I think he might be onto something. He might not be a prince, but he certainly gained the respect of these other worldly creatures. I mean, it would have been one thing if he said that it was only when he had food that could have been gratitude, but it's every time they see him, that's an honor he has earned.
There's something unusual about this child.
I'm glad he's with us.
Yep.
I want to keep him.
And yeah, I'll say we pretty much rest for the night, which will be very great, so I can fully heal and get a spell back.
Storm will take first watch when we are getting ready to go to bed.
I want to take a watch.
I'll take a watch as well.
I probably shouldn't take a watch because I can't see in the dark. So
I don't
think I can either.
I mean, we have the fire going.
And I'll have Cass, patrolling the area.
Lyra, what, are you taking a watch, or are you just gonna sleep?
Yeah, I'll take a watch.
Alright, sweet. So I know, Dolf, you said you wanted to take, during the first watch, you're gonna walk around.
Yeah,
with...
I was gonna just walk around with Gobbo.
Alright, so that'll be during the time that Storm is also taking watch. So both of you just go ahead and give me perception checks.
You don't know shit.
And
Maybe.
I'm
Maybe
just like teaching him some stuff that he asked.
A 13.
That is going to be. What is my perception? That's going to be an unnatural 20.
Gotcha. Yeah, I mean it's a pretty quiet night, and you're walking in your chat with Gobbo.
So I'm just like those in the sky. Those are called stars.
Oh,
And that big orb right there is the moon.
oh, okay.
Actually, how many moons are in there in the sky?
There is only one.
Okay.
That's a good
And-
question.
But it's a full moon all the time.
Okay. So that is the moon.
It's always a full moon?
Mm-hmm.
Wild.
So he's kind of like he doesn't have anything to write down with, but he kind of seems to be like mentally taking notes. He's like, okay, stars, moon, what like, you seem to know a lot of things, sir. What are these? And he kind of like touches a tree.
This is a tree.
Oh, a tree. Okay. Why is it called a tree? What does that mean, sir?
Oh no, we've reached that level of questioning.
The whys are happening. Oh no.
Oh no, never ending.
The dreaded W
the-
question. Why?
Why?
Well, the gods of the world gave certain names to certain things, and as their own creations, we kind of follow. We kind of caught on to the names and named them ourselves.
Oh,
that way.
so
There's further descriptions of it, but we can go into that another time.
so people like you and me just made names for stuff, and so we can just make names.
Yeah, like I pull out my. It's not really. It's basically like it's like a baton more than a mace. It's like this is. It is called a weapon. It is also called, just it could be called a stick. It could be called many things, but to make it personal to you, we can give it a name. I could give it a name to personalize it.
Oh. And he kind of
So-
pulls out his short sword and he kind of holds it.
So this, I mean, as you know, is a sword.
It is?
This is a sword. This is a sword. But it doesn't. You don't have to be like, oh, this is. You can say this is my sword, or you can give it a name yourself to make it even more personal to you.
And he kind of looks at it, and you can kind of see him look very sad, but he says, "Oh, okay. I think I'm going to I'm gonna name this apathy.
Apathy?
Apathy. Yes, that was my mom's name."
It's a good name.
And he kind of like grips it and kind of like holds it to his chest a little bit, and then he sheaths it.
Mhm.
And he seems to kind of stand a little bit taller.
Yeah.
How do you spell that?
Oh, hang on, sorry. AFYSEE. Apathy.
And as we keep on going around, I keep Just naming the different things that he asks to like identify.
And as you're doing that, getting pretty late in y'all's watch, sir.
Let's get some rest.
Oh, yeah, I think that would be good, sir. Thank you.
It's been a long day.
And you and him both kind of hobble back, and Storm, you see them walk back as well. And at about this time, it is now time for the next watch, which I believe is.
I'm gonna wake up Tyler.
Oh,
Sure.
perfect.
Oh God.
All right, so Tyler, you're awoken, and you see Gobbo lay down, and basically he nearly, as soon as his head kind of lays down on the little jimmy-rigged bedroll that y'all have made for him, since his got burnt up entirely.
Storm will just straight up give him hers.
Perfect.
She's sleeping on the ground.
You just see him go. And he seems to be very calm and very peaceful. And then you see you see Dolf and Storm, after waking you up, they also head off to bed, and it is now your watch. So go ahead and give me a perception check.
Tyler's going solo. Starts wandering around camp. It's a natural. It's a natural one on his perception.
Oh no.
No.
That's okay. It's okay. I'm on watch with him, right?
Yeah. No. I don't remember.
I was.
Storm woke up Tyler.
You said it was my turn.
I thought it was, but she clarified that she woke up Tyler. So
I was already awake. Okay,
Is only Lisa asleep for like half of the time.
Yeah.
So.
So I was gonna draw in an active watch and then go into trance, but I guess I'm fine with Tyler.
You're just trancing.
So you're kind of aware, but again,
I'll take last watch.
So Tyler, you get a little distracted. You kind of start putting on a one-man show.
As usual.
I do I practice my heroic poses. Ugh. Ugh.
Does his grunting wake any of us up?
I mean, I could probably hear him because I'm trancing.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not asleep. I could hear things.
If anyone does wake up, though, I say, go back to sleep. I'm just practicing my poses.
Oh no.
Oh gosh.
This could only end well.
Is in your trance state, you can kind of hear him, and you like come out of it briefly. Give me a perception check as well.
24.
You don't see a whole lot. You just see Tyler just practicing his poses and just looking heroic. But it is all quiet, and so you're able to go back into your trance if you would like.
Yes.
This goblin is now representative of Gobbo. Just letting you know.
I love him.
Perfect.
That's my son!
My son. My son Gobbo.
That's
Collective
our son.
child. Oh my
Collective.
gosh.
Storm's the chaos ant.
You gave us this, Luke.
I did. I had
You did
full
this.
intention of this happening. Well, this becoming the child, yes, but everything else, perfect. Let me write something down real quick.
Yeah, we were supposed to actually get to a fight tonight. I don't think that's going to happen.
No, I don't think so.
It's 8:50.
Yeah.
We have not gotten there yet. We're not getting there now.
Yeah, probably not. But
I mean, granted, part of it was because of technical difficulties, but
that's true.
That is true.
That was a good solid 15 minutes. All right, so as you said, you take last watch. Lyra, it is. I assume, Tyler, do you wake up Lyra when her time rolls around.
Yeah.
Alright.
I'm sleepy again.
Done practicing poses. So Lyra, you wake up.
Roll
Oh my God.
perception.
And, yeah, go ahead and roll perception.
12.
12. Cool, it's pretty quiet.
Okay.
Cool. Do you wake up Iz when her time comes around?
Yes.
Okay. Iz, go ahead and give me one more perception check.
21.
21. Man, can you get anything less than a 20 when it comes to perception?
I can't get anything less than a 10.
Man, good perception
Wait, you have
stuff.
a plus 10,
I have a plus 9.
plus 9.
That expertise, Joe.
Dang.
Good stuff. Perfect. So it's also very quiet. You just hear, crickets, and you can hear bats flying overhead. But the sun slowly the light from the sun starts to kind of crest on the horizon. And what time do y'all wake up? Or do you wake everyone up?
I'd probably let everyone wake up naturally.
Storm will probably wake up with the sun. She's done that her whole life.
Same.
Nice. Gobbo, he kind of, also wakes up with the sun. And he looks a lot better this morning. And he kind of stretches. Good morning, ma'ams.
It is.
Yes, Miss Is. Well, thank you for watching last night. I normally have to stay awake, getting little bits of sleep to not get attacked in the middle of the night. So that's the most bit of sleeping. That's what it's called, right? Sleeping.
That's right.
When I'm not aware of things. Yeah, that's
Well, that's also called being Tyler, but sleep is going too.
You think he would know some what sleep is since he at least had the first 6 years of it?
Yeah, I'm kind of confused as to how little he knows, because surely these are things he would have learned if he'd been with his
Like, he was
parents.
kindergarten age. He would have picked up on
You
something.
know what trees are when they're young.
You don't know what they teach in the goblin.
But he was traumatized, so that does weird stuff to your brain.
True.
The trauma is spicy.
spicy drama.
Storm's
When
gonna.
you said-
This trauma got hands.
when Storm said that's what Tyler is, that is the phrase that wakes me up. And I'm like, someone say my name? What's going on? And that's when he wakes up. What am I?
Great little hero.
Yes, I am.
God.
He pulls on his boots.
Storm is going to go up to Gobbo and say, I realize that I never told you my name. My name is Storm. Which, when sometimes the sky is angry and there's wet and loud banging and bright
Oh, yeah,
banging?
yeah.
That's a storm. I'm named after that.
And there's a really bright light that tries to hit you.
That is called lightning.
Or fireball.
Oh,
But yes, the whole thing is called a storm.
oh. Well, ma'am, I would say you are. That name makes sense.
It does. It really does.
That's really well.
Yeah, Dolf is just gonna be laughing.
Oh,
We're just
I
laughing.
fully named this character based off of the personality in which I crafted for her.
I love it.
It's like falls to the floor laughing.
Oh,
Like,
Dolf is
she's-
full
this-
on laughing.
This was.
Storm chuckles, and then she's going to go, I was actually born of a storm. That's how I got my name.
So wait. So your parents were a storm?
Yeah, I'm pretty confused about this too.
But when a mommy storm.
Oh,
Oh no!
I'm
Oh no!
Shall not doing that conversation. Shall not doing that conversation.
Storm
That's not
begins
going to be
to
on me.
breakfast.
That's not gonna be on me.
Storm
We're
is
gonna-
going to begin cooking breakfast for everyone, and she is going to tell them all the story of how she was born.
And while she's doing that, I'm going to make little sticks for everyone. To draw straws essentially of who gets to have the talk with Gobbo later.
I volunteer as tribute.
Oh, okay, cool. But in her
He's
story,
11. He's a good goblin age. Isn't 11 in goblin years like middle-aged?
Depends on the
No.
goblins.
Depends on the goblin. Who knows how goblins work in this universe?
He is not ready.
No,
Alright.
no, he's not.
Storm, go ahead and tell your story.
So she tells them the story of how she was found under a tree on a night that was freezing cold, windy, there was lightning everywhere, and the tree she was under had been hit by lightning and split in half. And this is what brought her parents to her, the parents that she grew up with, their names being Night and Willow. Her moms. So she grew up with Night and Willow thinking that they were her parents. 25 years later, both of her mothers disappear. And a note is left from her father saying that they had stolen Storm from him. And this note alludes to him having lost her in the storm. So then she explains to Tyler specifically and to Gobbo. So my parentage isn't the storm itself. However, that is my origin.
Tyler and Garbo in unison go, oh.
Yeah. Okay. So you have 3 parents?
I have 2 mothers, and I dare not think what has happened to them.
2?
And I have one father whom I have never known, and who took my mothers away from me. So
That's
when I meet him, I will. Me and you, Gobbo, are a lot alike. We're both looking for vengeance for our parents. You don't know who your target is, and mine is the man who gave me life.
huh. Okay. Well, man, that certainly is that sounds a lot like mine. Though I had a dad as well as a mom. I didn't have 2 moms. Oh, that would have been so many chores. To have 2 moms?
So because you just have to not listen to them, and then they send you off to Anakin. It's fine.
Oh, okay. Well, thank you for
Besides, Gobbo,
sharing.
now you have that Storm does a head count. Myself, Lyra, is Dolf as parents, and Tyler as a cousin, weird uncle. I don't trust him raising you.
Weird uncle sounds right.
I don't like that.
Oh, no, I've
Perhaps an older brother.
never had
Okay.
a brother.
What?
I've never had a brother.
Oh, I thought you said you did have a brother.
Yeah, I was like, oh
Well,
god.
now you do. And what mighty brothers we will be, slaying wolves and bears all day long.
He perks up and he smiles at all of you. Says that sounds really nice. Okay, we should probably get going, right? We have a quest, an adventure.
We
sure
do
do.
indeed.
Oh, okay, I'll pack up my. Oh, wait. I guess I'm just.
No.
I guess I'll just be ready
no.
whenever you all pack up your stuff.
You
Well,
got your wrist thing?
And
Yeah.
your dagger. Don't forget your dagger and
Yeah,
your
Storm is going to tell him that bedroll is now yours. I have no use for it, and besides, it's quite large, so you can fold it a bunch of times. Nice plush.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
That's
and-
yours now, Gobbo.
Thank you, ma'am.
It
And
might be
he.
a bit heavy for you, so if you just want to toss it in with my stuff, that's fine too.
Oh no, ma'am. I need to carry my own weight. I'll carry what I have.
It's so big.
And so he takes it, and you all see him like struggle to roll it up as small as it'll go, because it's nearly as big as he is by the time he's done with it. But you see, he's cinched it up as tight as it'll go, and he's taken the ropes, and he just kind of fashioned this, makeshift backpack, and he like kind of squats down, he stands up, and he like starts to fall back a little bit, but then he like catches himself and leans forward. He says, "Okay, I'm ready to go."
If you need a break, I understand the need to feel like you're doing it all on your own, but you're not anymore. All of us are here for you.
It's okay, ma'am. I can handle myself pretty well. But thank you.
Himself for a while. We just need to give him a little extra attention sometimes.
Okay. Well, let's go. And he starts to walk off, and that is where we'll end it for tonight.
Luke, you gotta add a little goblin in our little walking now. The little goblin with a big giant
yeah.
bedroll. Just walking along with us.
Well,
Yeah.
don't add it just yet because we almost killed him the first time.
That's
so
true.
Don't worry, I have Revivify. I will always save it for just Gobbo.
make him holding hands with his.
Oh.
Gobbo? Not
Gobbo.
Garbo?
Yeah, Gobbo. Like
Gobbo.
Gobbo.
G-O-B-O.
Garbo sounds like a pretty,
Like his name was garbage, but then we shortened it.
yeah, like what a goblin would be named, wouldn't it? I don't know.
Garbo, he's just been calling him Garbo the whole time, and Gobbo
I have.
is too polite.
I know, full send I have.
I feel like he was like,
Oh, Gobbo.
Gobbo, and then Tyler didn't hear him, and he just didn't correct him.
Tyler just thinks it's his accent.
Does he even have an accent?
Oh, anyways, thank you, chat, and everyone who's watching, for hanging out with us and enjoying that hefty amount of emotional trauma that just occurred.
Damn, these trauma has hands. Hands, man.
Now, before we sign off, I believe, AJ, you have...
I have like multiple things to remind. So much
Perfect.
things to remind.
Go ahead.
So, boom. Hi, I'm AJ, also known as Husha_Kid. You can find me on the 3 T's of social media, TikTok, Twitter, and Twitch as Husha_Kid. I am in productions and multiple shows now. So, first, you can find me on Critical Misses on Twitch on Tuesdays and Thursdays. Tuesdays playing the Magpie TTRPG Masks, and I play a superhero named Echo. You can, and it is called Second City Saviors, and we continually break magic in our world every single time. It's kind of bad. I don't know how we do it every time. On Thursdays, you can find me in a Cypher Power Rangers game in which I play your lovable himbo, Die Ocelot. And I'm also in a production, I will link it in chat, I am a production assistant in a film series that I'm working along with. It is called Witness to Devouring Monster. It is an anthology film series with elements of magical realism and Filipino culture. The team is women-led and POC-led. We're currently in production, and we need help funding it. You can find the GoFundMe link in my Twitter bio. It should be in my link tree as like the first thing. And that is all the things I need to promote.
Perfect. Sweet. Well, anyone else have any other promotions or announcements before we?
Oh, our new store launched today.
Oh, that's right.
Our new website, mistymountainlegends.com. And for the first week, we have 15% off everything in our store with the code LAUNCH21. If you go to the site, the code is at the top of the site. So, yeah, go check it out.
What did you say that code was?
LAUNCH21. It's on the site.
I see it.
And I just threw it into chat.
Awesome.
Perfect. Well, once again, thank you to AJ for providing this wonderful backdrop that you see all of us in and me struggling to get all of us in the correct position for. Thank you to Luke for making the graphics, our starting soon screen, and the We Will Be Right quack, as well as the promotion that y'all hopefully saw if you saw our post about playing tonight. And huge thank you to Arcane Anthems for allowing us to use one of his songs as the music you hear at the starting soon and the We Will Be Right quack screen. So, yes, thank you all so much. This has been super fun. And this has been Fowl and Friends. So, thank you everyone for watching. I hope you all have a wonderful night. Goodbye.
What the heck did you tell chat? What the heck did you tell chat, Luke?
They'll now have it forever. Good night, everyone.